Hey, everybody. So, in this episode of the H2O cast, we sit down with Bull. Bull's an old school guy. Bull's a great dude. Him and his whole family are fucking awesome. He's the kind of guy that you just want to listen to all day, every day. He's not quite that grandpa, but he's definitely like that really cool uncle that you always want to hang out with when you're a kid. So, Fallon, what did you think about this episode with Bull?
I always think it is interesting to hear people's stories because everyone comes from a different place, different issues they had when they were kids, things that they dealt with that you may not think about. And you never know how that's going to touch someone else who's dealing with those same things. So anytime someone who is famous in any kind of way can share that, I think it is a great thing. And I really enjoyed hearing about like how he met this random old guy in a gym and how suddenly it became, he became his trainer and he went on to do all these awesome, great things just out of the blue. So I enjoyed listening to it. It was really interesting, very down to earth language, but it was good.
Language. Well, see, the great thing about doing the H2O cast is I really don't have to give a fuck about language.
You don't. I just do when I'm listening to it when my child can hear. So I try to
True.
be careful.
Anytime that you're playing one of our episodes, you definitely want to like check for that. There's another one that comes up here a little bit later that we'll talk about where I do try to censor myself, but I'm pretty sure you hated that podcast, so we'll get into that later. But as of now, let's sit down with our buddy Bull and learn about his life. All right, and we're live, and we're sitting here with Bull, aka Chris Griffin, which I don't think anybody knows him as Chris Griffin unless it's like from work. Everybody knows you as Bull.
True, that's true. I mean, pretty much my mom's the only one that still calls me Chris.
I'm kind of surprised she doesn't call you Bull because everybody else does. So, in going with that, as we sit here with the legend, the myth, the man, where does Bull come from? How did that happen? How did that transpire?
Somebody calling me Bull? Actually, Jesse Rogers from the SPF. One of my first meets, golly, a long time ago. Jesse was announcing, and I had a trainer at the time called Tank, and I went up and went to lift, and when I went to lift, I guess it was my second or third meet, and I'd been competing with the SPF, and Jesse was on the mic, and he said, "Y'all watch this boy lift. He's strong like Bull." And I didn't hear it. And then when I came back after the deadlift, my coach looked at me and said, "Did you hear what Jesse said?" And I said, "No." And he told me, and I said, "Oh, that's funny." And he said, "No, man, that ain't funny. It's your name." And so when I came back into the gym on Monday, everybody, was like, "Hey, Chris, how'd your meet go? Did you have fun? Did you do a thing?" And Tank looked at him and said, "No, that ain't Chris. That's Bull." And it just stuck. Every time somebody called me Chris, he would correct them and say his name's Bull, and that was it. It's been there ever since, over 20 years now.
Wow, it's weird to see how a nickname will just kind of carry with you. But you are the epitome of that. When anybody mentions Bull in the strength world anywhere, we all know exactly who they're talking about. There is nobody else. I mean, there's other guys that are just as strong and cool people, but there's only one Bull.
A lot of people stronger. A lot of people stronger. I'm an old man now.
Maybe now, but I don't know. I think you put up those historical records, and you look at it as a whole, as a whole person. And that's why we're here. That's what this podcast is all about. It's be good or be good at it. And you either have a natural talent or you have to work for it. And, there's everybody on one side or the other. And sometimes you can have a natural talent and be really good at what you do. And I think that's kind of where you fall in because you're naturally a great guy and you work really hard to be better.
Well, when I got started in lifting, I mean, I started like in high school, of course, everybody, lifts when they play football and everything else. And then I come up at, a good time for for lifting around here. Most guys back then were geared. Everybody lifted gear. It was kind of weird to be raw back in the day when I first started. And, but I came up and started lifting. My first gym membership was when I was 13. And it was funny because my dad went, and it was a gym called Cosmopolitan in Rivergate. And Dad bought me a lifetime membership. And, they were selling lifetime memberships for like $100, back in,
Dear God.
Well,
Why can't they do that shit now?
Yeah, I know. It was like
that must be why that gym's not there anymore.
No doubt. Well, actually, that's the funny part of the story is I went in and I worked out for 2 weeks and they closed the gym. Dad, we didn't have a lot of money, and so it was I had a job, and I went and I started working out at a gym called American Fitness back in the day, and it was just a big metal box, but back then it was amazing. It had everything. It had a bar in it. I mean, they had pool tables, at a smoothie bar that served beer. And then they had like racquetball courts and swimming pool and steam room and everything. It was the baddest gym around. And there was some really good lifters who lifted there. And for years, that's where I did it. And then I ended up, sticking around, going through high school, getting out of high school. And then when I got out of high school, I went in there one day and, I had like a 365 bench. And I thought that I was the baddest man on the planet. And but it was one of those that it wasn't nothing clean about it. I didn't know anything about powerlifting. And I went in and I got under the bar and all my buddies were there. And, we're all slapping each other and trying to get each other all hyped up and everything. And I come down and, touch and go. Bounced it off my chest, dropped it, slammed it, tried to get it up as quick as I could. And it was ugly too, like, butt off the pad, one arm completely straight, the other one still fighting it. And got up, benched it, put it in the rack. And I got up and everybody's telling me how awesome I am and everything because nobody knew anything about what we were doing. And there was this old man that was getting in the squat rack. And he never looked at me. And that was the one thing that kind of, that I always remember. I always tell, when I tell the story, that's always what I say. He never looked at me. He was looking at the bar straight ahead. And he had his fingers on the bar and he was gripping and he was measuring like finger to ring. And, and I seen him like adjust his hands. And he turned around and he just spoke up and he said, "Boy, you'd be hell if you knew how to lift." And, me at a 18-year-old cocky self said, "I just benched 365. He said, "That's supposed to impress me, boy. Come see me when you want to learn how to lift." And he pulled himself underneath the bar and stood up and he squatted and he went back over. And I went over to my cousin and I told my cousin, I said, "You believe what that old man just said to me?" and he said, "What?" And I told him what happened. And he goes, "Well, that's Tank." And he said, "He offered to teach you how to lift?" And I said, "Yeah." He said to holler at him when I wanted to learn how to do it. And he said, "Humble yourself and walk back over there." He says, "He's one of the strongest men you ever meet." And so I went back up, and the next few years, that was, several years, that was my guy. He taught me everything I knew. He brought me into powerlifting and showed me, how to lift, what was right, form. And he was a form Nazi. If I did anything wrong, it didn't count. And so, even in reps, he'd be like, "Your seventh set didn't hit depth. You owe me another one." And so we hammered home form way before we got strong, because I wasn't strong for a long time. that came much later.
None of us ever really are.
No.
We think we are.
Yeah, you think you are till you show up at a meet. And that was one of the best things that he ever told me. He said, "It's one thing to be the baddest man at your gym, but you got to understand when you go to that meet, everybody there is the baddest man at their gym." And he said, that's when you find out. And I got humbled a lot, went in and just sucked. For a long time. I remember when, I thought, a 455 deadlift was good. And, and I was like, and, depending on your weight it is, but, when you're coming in a 260-pound guy, that's you're not impressing anybody.
That's barely an elite women's lift.
Yes, I know you like, settle down.
Anybody over 148, I mean, they're repping out 455 now.
True,
so.
but I mean, when you go to a gym where like if you threw on that fourth plate, people were like, standing around, and and that's one thing now about the difference between when we trained and when we came up. A lot of people say like, video or it didn't happen. Like, dude, we had to bring in, a camera that you rested on your shoulder and then bring it to a tripod to be able to make a video. And does anybody have a VHS?
I think there's some antique stores.
Yeah, I know you can say what I mean.
But you got to spend $1,000 to find one now. That's craziness.
Yeah, cell phones have made everything so much better because having like the opportunity to critique your lifts, to go in and to like be able to come back right after the lift and check your form and what did we do wrong, what did we do, it's really helpful. I wish we'd have had that in a lot of the training, and plus just nostalgia. You look back, we lost a lot of people over the years. A lot of people passed away, a lot of people quit lifting stuff, a lot of people moved. I had a really great friend, a guy named Josh Manos, who's a tremendous bencher. And, me and him, we would go in together and we would sit there and talk before we started working out. And then we'd put our headphones in and wouldn't speak to each other for the next 2 hours. We just used hand signals. And, and it was just, and we knew exactly what it meant. Thumbs up was a plate, we throw up 2 fingers, it meant a quarter, or just, throwing your hand out, sideways was just to stay there. And literally that was all it was. We never spoke. But that sucker, he put a nickel on just to beat me at bench,
Well, that's really what it's all about.
Oh, of course. Made it fun.
Competitive nature.
Made it fun. Well, he was still trying to catch up after squat.
There's the bull.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Because my next series of questions was going to be, hey, when did you make that transition from cocky, arrogant 18-year-old kid who benched 365 the wrong way to the guy that you are more like now, which is the one who's willing to help anybody and everybody, always there for them, shirt off your back. You might be hurting, you might be injured, and I'm not talking hurt, I'm talking injured, and you're still in there spotting for them, you're still in there trying to take care of them, in the gym every day that I see you that you're there. It's like, well, shouldn't you be at home like resting that injury you're nursing? Nah. So when did that transition kind of happen from 18 to the magical age that you are now that we'll just call plus 30?
Somebody taught me who didn't have to, and that was the biggest thing. He had nothing invested in me, and there was no money exchange. There was never any. He didn't get any accolades from it. It cost him more money than it did, and and plus, my dad was sick when I grew up. Dad got multiple sclerosis when I was, like 6. So I never had a dad to like throw football with or to do anything because, dad couldn't take steps, dad couldn't even walk. And so, when I come into the gym, people always, hey, Bull, how's your day? Oh man, it's a great day. We get to lift weights today. And, and because I looked at it like, my dad was a huge supporter, but he would give anything to come in there and lift with me once, and he couldn't. And so, I treated lifting weights like a gift. And, once you start realizing that, okay, I'm never, unless you're Dave Hoff, or, some of the, if you're a bencher like, Julius or, some of these guys or, strongman like Martins, you're never going to be the best. You're going to be the best you can be. And that's what you got to focus on, and once you realize that, it doesn't make you weaker to make somebody else stronger, and that's what I always learned. If I can help somebody come in and be the best that they can. And sometimes, some of the guys, they'll even remark, I'm going to beat you. I'm like, and I'm going to help you. It's like that you don't understand. The difference is I check my ego. No, don't get me wrong. I got an ego, but let's just get
it rode in the back seat on the way over.
No doubt.
Sure.
That's But there's a difference between being funny and being serious, because I mean, I'll play a lot and I'll talk like I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, but everybody knows I'm joking. I mean, because if I can come in and I can take a 365 bencher and turn him into a 530 competition bench like I got taught, then, you know, to me that's a victory. That's a win. That's where the real thing is. When you see the pride of, you know, I've been on a platform, I've been on big stages, I've competed where people would love to be. You know, I've been really blessed to do a lot and to hang around with a lot of strong people and stuff and just see it. But when you can get somebody else there and, you know, and you watch them, like I took Michael Holt to Worlds back in like 2016, and he was an 18-year-old kid that weighed 148 pounds that was setting all-time world records, you know, and stuff. And he was just fantastic lifter and a great kid. You know, I mean, we started lifting when he was 14 and he weighed 97 pounds. And so,
Lord, I remember 97 pounds. Kindergarten was
did you? Yeah, no doubt. When they cut off one leg, that was it.
Yeah, and I was still in kindergarten. That's what I weighed. So
yeah. So I mean, but seeing his eyes light up and seeing, you know, and being a part of it and just helping, and then, you know, along the way, we've had, you know, a lot of great people come in from, you know, a lot. We train, you know, we coach women, we coach men, we, you know, we worked with everybody and everybody that we can. You know, we just try to make them better. And, you know, and the first thing we tell them is, you know, number one, well, just to be honest, I mean, check your ego at the door and, you know, get a condom for your heart, because we're going to fuck your feelings. You know, I mean, we're here to make you stronger. We're not here to baby you.
Wait a minute. Get a condom for your heart, because we're going to fuck your feelings.
Yes. Yeah.
That needs to be written down somewhere. And that needs to be on a t-shirt. I'm here to tell you right now, that is a gold statement right there. Get a condom for your heart, because we're going to fuck your feelings. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't get past that right now. Holy shit. That's damn.
Well, it's just, you know, it's the truth. I mean, if you go through worried about, you know, hurting somebody's feelings by telling them that they're doing something wrong, you're in the wrong place. You know, you're going to toughen up.
I think we're going to have to market heart condoms. I think we're going to need to put those out there. We've got to do it. I mean, we can use Ziploc, we can use whatever, but we need some fucking heart condoms.
Something's going to have to work, huh?
Because these snowflakes that we've got right now, we've got such a societal change. And, you know, I see these younger kids coming in, these newer lifters. They've got such a different mentality than we did coming up. They want the same things that we do, but the way to get there, they take a completely different road.
Oh, social media, thank you.
Oh, fuck social media. And the thing is, we're here now working off of a social media platform to try to get the same, we all want the same things. And yet, the way that we go about it, being so fucking delicate, if I say fuck, somebody might get like super pissed. If I say the word cunt, I'm going to get hate mail.
Oh, guaranteed. You just got two people just quit right now.
Yeah, they just
turned it off.
Yeah, they just turned the podcast off right now. And the thing is, it's not meant to be malicious. It's just words. It's just a way to communicate, to get somebody to think about something a little bit differently.
Sure.
That's all any of us are trying to do. So like when you're up on the platform and you're yelling at somebody to do something, if they take offense to it, then they're not going to lift right.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, because back in the day, it didn't matter what anybody said to you. You needed to be in your zone. You need to be in your lane and not giving a shit what the next guy's doing.
No.
Because it doesn't matter what they do. I see so many people, like, they come through Strongman. They come up and they're like, well, I've got to know who I'm going against. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. This is your first show. You know what matters is you go up there, you don't zero anything, you set some fucking PRs.
Definitely.
Because if you're able to set 5 PRs in one day on 5 different events, you never do that shit in the gym.
Yeah. That
should be the biggest rush in the world. And when you're out there, you're going to meet a bunch of new family. You're not going to get a bunch of guys that hate you. They're not going to be going up there going, oh, I hope he breaks his ankle, or fuck, I hope he falls down. No,
that's bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's those guys that push each other off the stage.
Yeah.
We don't do that shit. So with powerlifting and with strongman and all the other, you know, big strength sports, nobody wants that bad shit to happen.
No.
On a football field, you're like, you know what? I hope he breaks his leg.
Oh, definitely.
I'm
going to break his leg. Yeah.
Yeah. If Tom Brady could break his leg, I'd be happy, motherfucker. I'm here to tell you. But that's not in our sport.
No.
It's not who we are. And it's all, you know, we're all competing against everybody. but we're with all of them. You know, I was down at Worlds last week, and one of the guys came in and they lost his baggage. He had like a size 15 fucking shoe. Nobody else had one of those.
Sure.
So Rogue overnighted him shoes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That, as a multi-million-dollar company, you're like, oh, well, that's cool. But all of his other gear came from all the other lifters.
Yeah.
They let him borrow stuff, and he made the finals. Like, he wasn't just a scrub. He's a guy who was there, making that shit happen. Everybody will get to see it when, you know, Worlds comes out. I can't release too much information and all that bullshit. Gayest thing in the world. But they are going to release it this year, June 30th, for the first time on CBS Sports Network. We don't have to wait for Christmas this time.
That's great. That's great. That's great. That's definitely good.
I hate being in prep for next year already.
when
last year comes out, you know. But just that camaraderie and that lifestyle, you embody that all day, every day. Even you on a bad day is better than the rest of us on a good one. Because you never tell guys no. You're always there for them. You know, they call you up even on a blood draw day. I've seen you at the gym on a blood draw day. You shouldn't fucking be there. But you know what? You're there. You look like a zombie. And you're still helping. You're still helping change weight. You still helping move around. You're spotting. And you shouldn't be. But you're there.
Well, people, you know, this is an individual sport. You know, I mean, to go back, what you need to do, just for future reference, the next time somebody comes up to the table and asks you, you know, who am I going against today? What you need to do is you need to carry one of them little compact mirrors in your pocket and just hold it up and turn around and look at them and be like, you know, hey, that's your real competition today. Don't worry about the rest of these guys. But as far as like showing up and being there, this is an individual sport, and the fact that, you know, you're the only one that's got to push the weight. But, you know, when I get up to a squat and, you know, and I got great guys that I love, you know, that I trust beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know, but it's kind of like having your best girl, you know. I mean, when like Big Frank Phillips, you know, your favorite power lifter and mine, you know, when you know, when he's behind me, I know that, you know, that you might go to a meet and let's just, you know, throw out, you know, somebody like, you know, Shane Hammock might be behind you or something, you know, and, you know, let's say he's spotting, you know, so you got a 1,200 pound squatter behind you, or, you know, but I know 100% that, you know, when Big Frank's behind me, that he'll pull that bar off my back and let it crush his chest before he'll let me get hurt. And, you know, and I got other guys, you know, my whole team really will step up, and every one of them, and I trust them to get behind me and stuff. But when somebody's in prep and they're getting ready, having the one person that you know is going to be there is important. And I care more about their meet than they do. So, you know, so if I got to suck it up and, you know, show up on a day that I don't feel good just so I can help somebody else, you know, be in their comfort zone and make them better, yeah, man, let's do it. That's what this is about. I mean, if you can't help somebody else and you can't be there for them, how can you ever expect them to turn around and be there for you? So that's the beauty of it. It's just a great sport, great to be around. We didn't have that much support like we do now when I came up. I mean, I come up in corporate gyms and stuff, and, you know, there just wasn't a lot in the area, you know, to places to go and places to train. And then plus, you know, I mean, we ain't getting paid for this, you know, I mean, and so you're having to work and then get off work, and then when you have kids, you're juggling kids. I mean, I remember going home and picking up the kids from the sitter, sitting there for an hour and a half, and, you know, just, you know, shoveling in food, changing diapers, and then loading the kids up in the car and going down and meeting Shorty at a church that was a mile from the gym. And she'd come in, she'd put the kids in the car, she'd go home, she'd feed them, I'd go work out, and then after my workout, she would be pulled in the parking lot, put the kids back in the car, she'd go in and work out, and I'd bring them home and do baths and stuff and put them down for bed. You know, I mean, just trying to get it in and make it work. And I've been, you know, I've just been blessed with people who've helped, but I never had what we got now. You know, I never had a team, I never had that camaraderie, and a lot of people did. I mean, you know, we're not inventing the wheel here. I mean, there's been teams around for, you know, 30, 40 years that I know of, you know, that are still going to this day. But I wasn't fortunate enough to have that. And so now I see these guys, I mean, you're talking about like when we deadlifted, if we used chalk, we had to mop the floors in the gym right after we finished. And there was no deadlift bars, you know, everything was straight bars, and just we had to buy our own stuff and put it in closets and lock it up and you know, and only use it on the days that we did, or we bring our stuff in. And now these gyms that cater, you know, to lifters, or, you know, or give them a place to lift is really a dream come true. And I tell the guys all the time how lucky we are, you know, to have it. Some places still won't do it. I mean, I had a buddy of mine get kicked out of the Golds for using chalk. I'm like, dude, your freaking mascot is a guy pulling a deadlift. I guarantee you had chalk on his hands.
Absolutely. So to caveat on that, you provide one of those places for all the lifters around. And just so that, you know, people can kind of put this into perspective, we're in White House, Tennessee, which is probably, a lot of you have no idea where the hell that is. It's about 30 minutes north of Nashville. Quaint little town. Don't fucking speed here. I swear to God, they'll get you for 1 mile over. I may or may not have spent most of the night in jail because somebody was speeding in this town. Was it me? I was just a passenger, and I was a teenager at the time. We'll get into that story later.
That's one I want to hear.
But no, White House has been historic for they do not fuck around. So not a ton of people here. What's the population here in White House?
8,000.
8,000 people. Now, to caveat that, you have, it's essentially a hybrid gym. It's a commercial gym up front.
Yes.
That has a bunch of really cool areas as you go back until you finish up in the hole. And the hole is where all the demons live, all the scary people, but all the nicest people in the world hang out in that one spot.
True.
So with that, how many members do you guys have at Just Be Fit?
Right around 4,000.
4,000 people out of a population of 9,000. That is absolutely, positively unheard of in any town, in any market, anywhere at all. Those kind of numbers come from towns that have 100,000 people, 200,000 people, 1 million people, not out of 9,000. So it tells me we've got a lot of people that travel to this gym for a reason. And that reason really and truly is, I feel, it's not the way it's built, it's not the layout, it's not the rooms, it's not any of the accoutrement of the gym, because you could find all those things anywhere.
I'm sure. And it's not pretty. I mean, you know.
And it doesn't have to be, but what it is, it's you and Shorty. It's you guys providing an environment that is conducive with what everybody really needs. And you know, there's all these places that are workouts, workout this time, that time, 24/7 this, 24/7 that, judgment free zone. And there's all these other gyms out there that are trying to do what you guys have mastered without even trying. You just went in there and it was Bull and it was Shorty, and the people came.
We were really, really, really blessed. I mean, a gym is only a building, man. I mean, it's the people in it, and you know. And I tell people we got great members, and you know, and we kind of use a line a lot. You know, we tell people when they're first signing up, I'm like, look, we got awesome members, and if they're not, you come tell me, and I'll make them awesome. You know, we're not going to put up with no jerks or anything in there, because it's just coming up in corporate gyms, coming up without having all of this stuff. You know, we're gym owners who bought a gym, and you know, and so we're gym owners. We're gym people who bought a gym, and you know, and so when we started, you know, took over the place, we decided that we were going to make it like we always wanted, everything that we needed. So, you know, we brought in supplements, but we're not a supplement shop. I mean, you can run down the street and get them. But what we did is we went to our members and said, what do you use? And, you know, and so it's like, we use this. Okay, well, I can get it a little cheaper than you can. I'll bring it in. I make money off the gym, not supplements, you know, but we brought it in to do supplement stuff just so people could have it out of convenience. Like, you show up, you forget a drink. Oh, well, hey, you know, you got it, you know, or you can buy your pre-workout there. And then childcare, you know, we were like, because again, that swapping of the cars with the things, because our gym didn't offer childcare where we were training at, and so we wanted to put in a childcare area. And then, like sometimes your kids, they want to see you, when you're in the gym, they get upset. Well, bring your kid over there, sit him down in the corner, let him sit there and watch you lift. He's not hurting nothing, and then, we wanted it to cater to people who were just in there to get fit and work out, because you're not going to get rich off powerlifting.
No,
you're not.
You go broke fast.
Yeah, powerlifting and strongman, you're not going to bring in the people. So it's your cardios, it's your people's, just trying to stay healthy. So you got to give them an environment. And one thing we do is we try to get behind everybody. Like, we got a guy right now come in and just renewed for 6 months, and he told me, he's like, man, this place changed my life. And I'm like, and he showed me pictures, and he's lost 75 pounds.
In 6 months?
Yes. And, and he's, it's like you're proud of them, and you just, so then we put them on social media too, just like, our 900 squatter, we try to get behind everybody. We're blessed to have, like, physique guys, bikini guys. But then we got an 80-year-old man that comes in every day and rides the recumbent bike for 20 minutes with an oxygen tank.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we give him just as much praise as we give everybody else, because it's awesome. I'm proud of him and just staying active. And then when we brought in the strength stuff, we went to the back, and I was telling the people, it's like, look, I want a place where you can come in, you can LeBron the chalk. You can plug your phone up to the radio and listen to whatever you want to. You can yell, you can, slap each other, you can do everything, cuss. But I don't want it to offend the people up front. So we built a room onto the back of the gym for that. And then one of the guys that I was telling, he'd been in prison, and he was like, oh, so basically you're putting us in the hole. And I was like, dude, you just named it. and that's what we did. So we just walled it off where you can, come in there, and we got, monoliths, competition benches, all the bars you need. We got chains, stones, calibrated kilos, deadlift platforms, bands, everything that we always dreamed of having at a gym and never had access to. And we got it now. And it's fun. I love, Sundays at the gym when the whole team would get together and people would come down and just visit, and everybody's in there just, supporting, yelling, and it's hot in the summer, it's cold in the winter, and it's miserable, but it's...
Yeah, there's no heat or AC back there.
No.
If you want to get warm in the wintertime, just lift more. And if you want to cool off in the summertime, fuck you.
Yes. Yeah, you're done. Because, you're just going to be hot. We got a fan.
Yeah, there's a fan in there that'll blow other people's sweat on you.
Yes, but...
that's happened to me. Somebody stood in front of it, and I was a few feet away, and I started getting this spray, and I look over, and I go, oh, that's not what I wanted. Not at all.
But it was a mist, and there you go. You got to be...
I was a little bit thankful, because it was a little bit cooler.
It was a little cooler
than the shit I was dripping. So it worked out. So let's talk about Shorty a little bit.
Okay.
Shorty's been with you since the very beginning. Before the beginning.
Yes.
She's been around forever, and it's weird because she's only 29. So, that's fantastic. But how did you guys meet? And how did it come up that you found the fucking perfect lady for you at such a young age?
Just high school. We met in high school, and just got together, and and over the years, we've been through a lot. She's always been very, very, very supportive and helpful and good, and she's a badass lady. She's very strong, and and there's times over the years we've absolutely hated each other, and but somehow we've made it work, and we've there wouldn't be any of this without it, without that dynamic.
Absolutely. She's the other half of the team,
guaranteed.
And I really don't think that she gets the credit that she deserves, because she's so humble all the time. She stands off to the side and she just smiles, always smiling, always in a good mood. But that if she stepped back onto the platform at any time, she would just wreck people.
Well, she trained for 6 weeks for SPF Nationals and won it a few years ago. I mean, she's always been a very powerful woman. She doesn't, she don't love competing like we do. I mean, she'll do it. She ain't scared, but it's she has more fun just working out and not focusing on the competition stuff. But hey, she'll jump in there, she'll spot, she'll load plates, and her form is perfect. So I mean, I used to tell people when we first bought the gym, I was like, if for some reason nobody's here and you need a spot, go back and get Shorty. And they would kind of laugh and be like, yeah. I'm like, dude, don't laugh too much. She out squats you by 60 pounds. It's like,
that's absolutely true. Absolutely.
No, she does. She does run Just Be Fit. She is the gym. I mean, really, I show up, I walk around, I tell jokes, and and help and slap people and lift and clean bathrooms. But she is there. She runs everything. She does it all. She does the inventory. She teaches class. She cleans the gym every day. She fixes the batting cages. I mean, changes light bulbs. I mean, air filters. I mean, because I still work a real job too, and but she's there every day, 10 hours a day, constantly. Yeah, she is, and she's been real great in the community too. She goes out and she gets behind the things that small towns should, which is each other, and and that's she does a great job.
Absolutely, because you guys are members in pretty much everything in the community, right?
Yes, yes. Well, she is. She is. I am. I do some of it, but I can't be there during the days and stuff. But she is on top of every committee and club or something that you can join, or that tries to make a difference, and they do. I mean, they really do good things. I mean, it's not just a show. She actually cares.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, she comes across always as very genuine, always truly helpful in everything she does.
She ain't afraid to tell you what she thinks either, and that makes a difference.
The good news is I've never pissed her off.
It's smart.
So
yeah.
I figured that was a good way to go, and
yes.
I'm going to try to keep that record going as long as possible.
Yes.
The more I'm around, the less likely it's going to happen, but I'm going to try to not piss her off. Because it's not that she's scary, just like that could be bad.
And it can be. There's always it's kind of like that Clint Eastwood movie. Is like, you ever in life you ever run across that one person you realize you shouldn't have fucked with. I'm that guy. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, she's put up with you for we'll call
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
That's longer than I knew how to spell gym.
Yeah, but I have shirts that old now. So.
That's awesome. You've still got those.
Still
around.
wear, yeah.
Most of mine have kind of went by the wayside. Because I get a shirt at every contest I go to, I just start making quilts.
Oh, that would be. That would
I just have the one closet at home, so that's not working out for me. So I had to build like an edition just for t-shirts. Because all I ever wear is fucking cool ass t-shirts.
I understand.
Speaking of which, the one I'm wearing right now happens to be a Bull Strong t-shirt.
That's a perfect segue. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was liking.
Good job.
So you started an apparel company.
Yes.
Kind of on a whim.
Yes.
What did somebody like just say? I dare you to make t-shirts.
No. Shorty got on to me for spending so much money on powerlifting.
After 25 years.
Well, I mean, look, here's the truth. This is what we don't talk about Bull Strong. If there was a lot, I've been poor my whole life, and still am. I'm the poorest man in Sumner County. But I'm
gonna call bullshit on that. I think you're one of the richest guys I know.
Well, in friendships,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, but money, I never had it, and there was a lot of things that I had opportunities to do when I was strong, when I was younger, to travel to some of these bigger meets or to, compete on a bigger stage. But
how are you able to monetize that? Because I mean, I know a lot of lifters today, they look at it and they go, well, I don't have enough money to do that. If I could just sit at home, train and eat and just do that all the time, I could probably accomplish that shit too, which is completely bullshit.
True.
So how are you able to balance the working, because you're an electrical engineer, right? Mm-hmm. How are you able to balance that, which is a very demanding job, physically, emotionally, psychologically in all aspects of it. How are you able to balance that with the lifting and the money?
I gave up a lot of lifting, and and that was what I was headed towards. Is I couldn't. There was things that I couldn't do because I couldn't afford to go, and so when we started the gym, there was people there that wanted to compete in not just powerlifting, but Spartan races and bodybuilding shows and stuff like that. And some of the people they were struggling financially, and and we were too. So we just decided that we'd start helping. So anybody who came to us that that just kind of let us know, hey, look, I wanted to do this or something, we would sponsor them. And and we can't obviously you can't do it for everybody because a lot of people have the means to do it. And so the ones that didn't, we just started taking care of. And then some of the guys on the team or the people or some of the people that just worked out with us wanted to travel to some of these meets, but they couldn't afford to go. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll buy a couple extra hotel rooms, and then y'all two just room up, and we'll cover it, and we'll go. And we started doing that, and we started. So you'd buy a room here, you buy an entry fee. You'd give somebody some money for wraps or a belt or stuff, and we tried to do that as much as we could. And it at the end of the year we looked down and said, whoa, we spent a lot of money on lifting and strength related stuff last year. And and it's not charitable, so you don't get the money back, and it was costing us a ton. And so Shorty said, either you're going to have to stop giving away everything, or you're going to have to find a way to supplement it. And so
the obvious choice is we're going to continue to give shit away.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to make more money if we got a way to do it.
Well, we started Bull Strong, and Bull Strong goes into a different fund than our money. And if somebody calls me and tells me that they're wanting to do something and they can't do it, we help them. And and one thing that we don't have that on the website. We haven't. I've never told anybody outside of the people that helped why we did it, but that's why we started Bull Strong. That's what that t-shirt company is. It's not for profit. It's for lifters to give them the opportunities that we never had.
And that's a very important message to put out there. I know you don't advertise it because you don't want the accolades for that. You just want to put out cool t-shirts, and you want that to be what is seen. But you helping those lifters, it's hard for anybody else to imagine what that really does for them. Because when you can say, hey, I'm going to get you to that meet, and 4 of your friends are going to ride with us, then that means now they have 6 people that are rooting for them in a meet that's out of state, that they feel alone, that they feel stranded. And I've been to many, many powerlifting meets, and I've noticed one very common theme. Yes, everybody that likes each other, but nobody's fucking smiling. Everybody's got resting bitch face. So they're really hard to approach in that arena, except for you. You're always smiling, always in a good mood, hooting, carrying on, and having a great time. But a lot of the other ones are a little bit hard to approach. So if somebody's going to their first meet and it's an out-of-state meet and they don't have anybody with them, that might turn them away from the sport. It absolutely could. So for you doing that for them, and you helped them out, you got them a belt, or hey, they had to try some briefs, like yeah, they got those, and they got the trip, they got their entry fee, so they're out whatever money they had for food and everything else, and taking time off work. That might have created a lifelong powerlifter, a lifelong strength athlete, versus oh man, sorry, we can't help you, and then they just kind of drift off into nothing. Sure. They become one of those guys who are like, well, yeah, I was strong in high school. We all know those fucking guys.
Yeah.
We all hate those.
A lot of those.
But for you to do that and then to bring that message here on this platform means a lot, because this is not be good or be good at it is not meant. I'm not here to make fucking $1 million. It'd be great, man. That'd be cool.
Sure.
I'd love to just travel around and do this shit all the time. It's great. But what this is really for is just to tell stories. When I go to contests, I don't necessarily look forward to the contest as much as like the dinner that's after. Everybody's dead and everybody's so tired. All anybody really wants to do is go eat and go to bed because we're all just beat. So I try to make sure that I schedule things just the right way, at the right amount of time, so I can get 20 of my closest friends to go destroy one bar or one place or whatever it is,
fun.
eat all the food, and we sit there and we tell stories, just like we are now. That's about lifting the good old days, the nowadays, because the good old day is now.
Sure. And
The best day of my life is today and tomorrow.
Yeah, that's changed a lot here lately, especially for me. People always tell you to look at life as a blessing, and and I say it a lot, with the guys right now that are in their prime and they're coming up. I'm like, I tell them, bask in this, enjoy this, because one of these days you're going to be the old guy in the back spotting, and so enjoy your time in the sun, and then and just live every day. It sounds cliche and everything else, but everybody that I know right now, everybody knows I'm sick, and I don't like to talk about it, and I don't put it out there. I'm not one of them social media people that do that, and I don't knock the people that do. It's just not my thing. But I am sick, and I do got some pretty bad health stuff going on, but I'm not dead, and so let's stop worrying about how long people got to go and everything else, and just focus on living. And people say that as a cliche, and they say that all the time in your life and everything else. But then everybody says, well, hey, we're all dying. You are, but when somebody tells you it's going to happen, it kind of changes. Then it actually becomes real. And so you gotta live every day like it is a gift, because it truly is. I mean, me at 35 was unstoppable. Thought I could do anything. Thought it would last forever. I was going to be strong, and I never was going to be that old man and all that stuff. And 10 years later, it broke all down, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And but it's just it does make a difference to everyone about enjoying what time you got here and making it count. Because as far as like the people in the back that won't talk to you and the jerks, to me there are a few, but I mean it's few and far between. I think it's come a lot better. I think a lot of people are good. I think the people who are in their head more are the people who hadn't been doing it as long. And I think the ones that because they're still thinking that they have to be angry. And there's a guy named Mike Beatty. Mike Beatty's a tremendous guy. Works out at Cell Block with Brent Tracy, and Brent Tracy's like the godfather around here. Just a great guy. And Mike Beatty told me one time we were sitting in the back, and we were in Manchester, and we were competing up there at SPF state meet or something. And there was a dude in the back, and he was like, he was grunting and he was shaking and he was walking around and everything else. Mike turned around and looked at me and he goes, "You know what he's going to do?" I said, "What?" And he said, "Gas on his third." And he turned around and looked at the boy and he said, "Hey, save it for the platform. You ain't got to be mad back here." and that always stuck with me, because he's right. It's like just when they say the bar is loaded, that's when it's time for you to go to that place. And but beforehand, just be relaxed, be calm, save the energy. It only counts on the platform.
Right. I think the most energy I've ever seen you expend myself, because I've seen the videos from Relentless, and you're doing amazing stuff up there with that. We'll get into that in just a second. But I think I saw more energy when I saw your daughter's first powerlifting meet. You were more excited than anybody else, I think, in the city of Nashville. Jumping around, just going off. You were more excited than she was. And it was fantastic, because you looked like a little kid again. Dude, that's, I've been lucky to do some cool things in this sport, and I would take all of that, crumble it up and throw away and pretend it never happened to watch my little girl get up there again. She's awesome, and we never pushed her into it. She came to me and she said, one day she's just like, "Daddy, will you coach me like you do the other guys?" And I was like, yeah. It's like, fighting them back. And because watching her, one thing about this sport is it gives you a confidence that,
you really can do everything. You know, I mean, you see the memes and you see all that stuff out there that, you know, that says, you know, like squatting is a metaphor for life. You know, you just got to stand up. Well, I mean, but it's true. I mean, you know, if you think about it, I mean, you take something that that most people can't do, and you believe in yourself enough to be able to do it. I mean, when I grew up, I was a kid, and like when I was younger, like up like 5th and 6th grade, you know, I was short, fat, redheaded with freckles. I mean, all I needed was glasses. And
You were doomed.
oh man, I mean, and I remember, you know, I told this story the other day. I remember letting a boy beat me at wrestling because he was more popular than I was. And I thought, you know, that he should be able to beat me because he was cooler than me. And you know, and I knew that I could have beat him. And, you know, even at that young age, that instilled in me this inferiority complex of, you know, of, be it social standards, athleticism, I mean, whatever, no matter what the reasoning was behind why you didn't feel you were good enough for a win, you know, that plays into your head. And, you know, I reached a place later in life where, you know, because of some other things that happened, to where that wasn't ever going to happen again. And, you know, and my daughter was lucky enough to get brought into a sport that teaches her that no matter how much money you have, no matter if you're the biggest nerd in the school, no matter if you are, you know, an athlete, a jock, the smart guy, it doesn't matter. You can be good. You can be strong. You can be somebody. And, you know, and watching her do that was more pride than anything, because I didn't care about her numbers. Her numbers, you know, I mean, even though they're awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's strong.
Those are some incredible numbers.
Yeah, I mean, she's 11th all time and
Yeah.
12 and under, and she did it at 10 years old.
Absolutely. And you know what? We will have those posted within the podcast description, just so you guys can go and see that. And does she have social media?
She does. She is at the little one.
That is crazy as hell that a 10-year-old has social media, because that stuff is violent out there.
Well, she has a social media account that she comes to us and says, "I would like to post this," and we look at it and say,
See, now that's
"Okay,
a great idea."
yeah, no, she's not allowed to post anything without being checking. And the only reason we let her have it was because when she started competing and she started going to these meets, you know, people started wanting to reach out to her and stuff, and they really did. I mean, the powerlifting community has been great to her, you know. And of course, you know, I'm very, you know, I'm subdued just conversating, sitting around talking, but I mean, you put, you know, a situation like a meet or something like that, I'm very animated. I yell a lot. I'm not embarrassed. A lot of people, you know, they'll get up there and they're like, "Just come on, man, go do it." No, I mean, I'm yelling, I'm pointing at the crowd. Why are you not yelling? I mean, why are you not as excited as me? And
You're definitely the most excited guy that I've seen in the powerlifting meet.
But that's why we're there, man. We're there to have a good time. And so, you know, let's have a good time. And the person who's up there, you know, the people in the crowd that are watching them, what they don't understand is that guy or girl has trained, has worked so hard for this moment. And, you know, and I mean, and the guy coming up 4 spots later might be out squatting him by 800 pounds. But this dude has worked for this moment for so long. This is his culmination. This is his championship. And be proud of it. You know, clap for him. Get, you know, reward him for his effort, you know, of what he did, because he had the balls to do it, you know. And I mean, I've seen people come back from meets and, you know, and they won a trophy and they had like 1,100 total or something. And, you know, and guys at the gym would make fun of them and be like, "Oh, I could have made that." Well, but you didn't. You know, you was sitting on the house eating Cheetos because you didn't have the balls to step up and put on a singlet and get in front of everybody and lift when it counted.
I tell you what, that's a weird feeling to have the singlet on and get there in front of people. It's a little disconcerting. I mean, there's more people afraid of public speaking than death. Like, they're less afraid to die than to get up in front of people and think that they might not be accepted by those people. So when you're up on a platform, I never see anybody go boo or I don't like that person.
No.
It's only cheers, and it's never jeers. And that's really what's important about all this. It's building that self-confidence. So for her to be 10 and to have a social media presence and doing all that, how much of it is positive versus negative? Because there's trolls everywhere. And I hate the trolls. No. But we can't get rid of them. No. There's no way to really just annex them from our lives because they're all anonymous. They can kind of, they're social justice warriors. They can do whatever the fuck they want. True. So how much of the feedback for her being 10 years old has been negative?
The only negative thing was that was ever said was, oh, don't hurt her growth plates. Oh, she shouldn't be lifting at that age, but there was no trolling action or anything else. Because
I really wish I could roll my eyes so you guys could hear it, because the whole growth plate fucking fiasco is. We'll get into that in another podcast. I have a whole subject on that.
Well, I tell them one thing they don't understand is I'm holding her back. She can lift more than what she's lifting, but it wasn't about the numbers. Like right now, she could move up the list with her strength, but we're not going to push her that hard. That's not why we're there. Right. We're there to give her the confidence of, she can do this. Laura Phelps was so sweet and invited her down to the women's pro-am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really, really big deal for her to move so quickly to that kind of platform. Yeah. That's got to do wonders for her self-confidence.
Well, of course. She comes back with a little gold medal and, pictures with the goat.
Hey, that's I don't even have pictures with the goat. Yeah. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. She was really just, everybody has been so good and loved her. And, nobody even knows. She's already been, her name has been forgotten, kind of like mine. Everybody just calls me Bull. Everybody calls her the little one. And, because that's what she'll be forever. And the reason we call her the little one is because she's got an older brother. And so when we used to walk out of the house, Shorty would be like, hey, I got the little one. I'd be like, all right, I got the big one. Let's go. And so that's what works. Yeah. That was where it came from. And so she will always be the little one till the day I die. And, that's it.
It's going to stick. So when she is a really big deal, not to say she's not a big deal now, but just when she becomes this phenomenon, if she sticks with it for the next, even 10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 more years of powerlifting, she'll be 20.
Yes.
Where most people start.
Yeah.
She'll be 10, 12 years ahead of them and at a better point in her life where she could learn and have good training and have all the advantages that a lot of people don't. She is set up very well to go on and be one of the greatest there ever has been, as long as she still wants to do it. And the important thing that you said was you never had to push her into it.
No.
She wants it.
Yes.
Hopefully she continues to want it.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't, let's say she comes to you at 15, like, Dad, I don't want to powerlift anymore.
Yeah.
What happens then? How does that affect your relationship with her?
Oh, yeah, I don't care. My boy, he could care absolute less about lifting weights. He's 14 years old. He wants to make YouTube videos and play video games and, wants to be a web designer. So, that's awesome. And you know what? I'm like, dude, be the best you can be. If they had people that would sit down and watch him do that, I would get up and yell. So, I'd get up and make them clap for him, So.
You'd be surprised. There's people that play video games, film it, put it online, and there's millions of people that will watch them play video games. More so than watch us lift heavy shit. I don't understand that at all. But there's definitely more of that kind of person than there is of us. We're kind of a rare breed. But that's always possible, and that's great that you won't put that pressure on her. To do that.
No. She never has to compete again, and she never had to for me to love her.
That's a lot of folks. They don't understand that. They're trying to look for that reassurance from their parents of, oh, they did this well, oh, they did that well. I know people now, they're 30, they still look for their parents in the crowd at a powerlifting meet or strongman meet. I'm like, it's not about that.
Yeah.
They're going to be there if you were playing fucking chess. If they're there for this, they're going to be there for anything. Know that you make them proud. And if they don't, then you know what? There's 100 other people beside you you're competing with.
They absolutely love you. Yeah, they want you to win. Yeah.
My blood family has gotten very small over the last several years. I've lost a lot of people. I lost my mom this year. I lost my brother. My sisters are pretty much dead to me because they like drugs more than people. So it's basically like me and my dad as far as blood relatives anymore. I have a few others that are distant, but I see them once a year, maybe once every 5 years. But my strong family, those are the ones that matter. Those are the ones that I see. They're the ones that I can call at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I need you to meet me at this spot and bring a shovel. And they won't ask me why. They'll just say, okay, click. And then they'll be there.
Well, that was one thing my dad always used to say is, he said he always used to say he had a lot of friends, but he didn't have a lot of true friends. And I asked him one time, I said, well, what's the difference? And he said, oh, it's simple. You call both of them at 2 o'clock in the morning and you say you need them. A friend will say why, a true friend will say where.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that's the epitome of what it is. And I know I've been very blessed to be able to know some of the greatest people in the world. And that's why, that's why I recognize this podcast and what it's for. And we're back with part 2, sitting here with Bull. Hope you enjoyed the small advertisement there for all of our supporters and everybody else who's out there, to include Bull Strong and all the great things that they do. So what were we talking about now?
I have no idea.
That's great.
I have no idea. I got a Sprite. So
all right, well that's good. As long as we're hydrated now with good, non-caffeinated carbonated drinks, we'll be okay.
Exactly.
So getting back into this, powerlifting has changed your life in so many ways.
True.
It's given you a different work ethic. It's made your friendships different. Your relationships in general different. So that brings us up to today, and I know you don't put a lot of your own stuff out there as far as how you're doing and what's going on with you, and it's admirable because I felt very special when I found out. So I was like, oh, I know this now. Broke my fucking heart. It absolutely did. And when Chad found out, Chad Clark, which he'll be on a later episode.
Great guy. I mean, there's good humans in this world, and then there's Chad Clark. I mean, he's just a notch above it.
Hey, everybody. So this ad here specifically is talking about podcasts. I started my podcast and I found Anchor. Anchor has been a wonderful way for me to be able to express myself and get everything out there, and it gives it out to the most amount of platforms. So a couple of the key points here about Anchor. If you haven't heard about, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Number one, it's free. It doesn't cost you a dime to get started. Interface is really, really good. There's creation tools that allow you to record, edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, whatever it is you need to do. Sometimes I'm on a plane. I can go ahead and record stuff even without a data connection. It will save, and then I can upload it later. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, really anywhere. It'll take it to wherever you need to go. You can make money on your podcast with no minimum listenership. See, that's a big one because, everybody wants to be Joe Rogan. We all can't be Rogan. But we do want to make a little bit to try to cover our costs of delivering this kind of information. I feel like we're doing a lot of great content, and you can too. So you can get yours started. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So what you need to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So in your Google Play Store or your iTunes Store, whatever it is, Anchor, ANCHOR. Get that thing downloaded. It's got a little blue icon with like an antenna on it, and it's great. I love Anchor. It's been fantastic.
So for some of our listeners that don't know, what exactly is Relentless? Because some folks are going to, have an idea of what this is, and they're going to be like, oh, well, everybody knows what Relentless is. But not everybody really knows everything. And this is a niche world. So what is Relentless? What do they do? And what does it mean to you?
All right. Relentless is a powerlifting meet that benefits Hope Kids. Hope Kids is a foundation that helps families of terminally ill children.
Now, do they only do the powerlifting meet for the kids, or is there other stuff going on at the same time?
There's a lot of stuff going on the day of Relentless. The day of Relentless, they have a fun zone for the kids, and they have blow up stuff and, people walking around doing face painting and, all stuff. It's literally like a little festival inside of a powerlifting meet.
Is it all geared for the kids, or is it geared for general public to be able to go, and then also the kids are there?
It's just for the kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is a day built just for them. And, and Hope Kids does so much wonderful things. And then, and coming in to Relentless and being able to lift in front of these children who are fighting battles that are 10 times worse than anything we've ever been through, and they really do. They come up on the stage and they smile and they and you're lifting and they're taking just one day out of their life to be kids, and that is one of the biggest things for me. They're not in a hospital. They're not thinking about being sick. They're thinking about having a fun time and watching what they consider to be superheroes up there lifting weights. And and Scott Nutter put it really best in the warm-up room before the meet. He said that he knows this is an Arnold qualifier and some people down here are wanting to get some big numbers and everything else. And he goes, but these kids are literally dying. And he just stopped and he got choked up and he said, these kids are dying for your attention. And, and when he said that, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Every single person, from the biggest, strongest man, were there, and just everybody, it hit home of why we were here, of what we were doing. We raised money to help children, and but the reality of the situation is all these kids are fighting battles, and they're fighting battles that we can't, us as adults, it's hard to hear these words and it's hard to have these problems, but these kids are fighting it at children, and they shouldn't have to, and we can do one thing, we can go in and we can lift weights and make a kid smile. And if you can't get behind that, there's nothing that'll help you as a human. You suck. And it was the greatest honor of my life to be asked to go and to be given the opportunity to come in and just, make some kids smile and laugh and cut up, and the numbers don't matter. And, it didn't, I could care less what we did that day. It's all about fist bumps and, and high fives and smiles and hugs and walking off and being something, not putting any of the lifters on pedestals because they're not the stars there that day, but being able to put joy into a kid's heart, and and that was what it was for me. It was a beautiful thing that literally changed my life. I came back feeling like a better person from what I got from them. Because I've never had more of a I've never been prouder of what I've done as far as being a lifter, because all the titles and numbers and crap and and small town lifts and victories and all that stuff, that was nothing, but it got me to that point to be able to step on that stage and make a kid smile. And and my Hope kid Danny, wonderful little girl, so sweet. And then the second year I was there, the first day we walked in, I looked down and I was like, I said, so what are you most excited about? Because, you got face painting, balloons, bouncy houses and, all this stuff. And she goes, I just want to watch you lift, Bull. And man,
how did you keep your shit together?
Oh, it just about killed me. I looked over at Chris Miller's wiping his eyes, and it's like, man, it put it into perspective what we were doing, and and this little girl who's fighting a horrible illness, and and she has all these other things that she could do this day that most kids would want to do, of playing, and she just wanted to watch me pick up some weight, so we did it. And and that was the year that I did it, with the renal failure and being so sick. But people were like, before I went, even the doctors were like, don't go, You know, I'm like, I lost your damn mind.
Yeah, I remember seeing you before that, and it was like, man, your health's not great, but I knew there's no stopping him.
I dropped 45 pounds in 11 days.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
You were like a different person when I saw you after that 11 days. I was like, what the hell? Where'd Bull go?
It was rough getting. I remember while it was going on, after I pulled my second deadlift, I was in bad shape. You know, I mean, I really was, and I never will forget it. You know, Corey Smash. You know, he's just larger than life athlete.
No.
You know, Corey.
Huge social media following.
Yeah, and just. But I mean, if you look at his post about how much he cares about Relentless and how much he cares about these kids and stuff, it shows you the kind of person he is. Mm-hmm. But he came up, and I just remember him. He put his hands on my shoulders, and he looked at me. He said, "Man, just stop." He's like, "Just stop." You know, he said, "You're sick. You know, you got nothing left to prove, man. You've already done it." And I remember I looked up, and I'm like, "There's no way I'm quitting." And then, you know, and they went over to the table, and Chris went over to give my numbers for my last deadlift, and Brazine and Scott were at the table, and I'm like, "Tell him to quit." You know what I'm saying? You know, and Chris was like, "He'll load the bar himself." You know, I mean, there was no possible way, you know, from like my mom just about killed me, you know, my wife just about killed me. The doctors were all pissed off. I mean, nobody wanted me to go do this. And then, you know, even that day, even the lifters were telling me to stop. But there was no way that I could quit knowing that what those kids were going through, you know, they didn't have the option of stopping. And so, you know, I'd throw up or be hurt for a while. I mean, I can handle that. If them kids ain't going to quit, I ain't going to quit on them.
Absolutely. I think that's a great sentiment. To say what that does and what Relentless is and the important message that it brings, and the fact that Scott's up there doing it and he does it every year and it fills up. I mean, it's invitation only, right?
Well, they do have spots for people to sign up, you know, but it's mostly you get in, you know, from invitation.
Right.
I mean, but you know, Chris Miller, he has a, you know, if you follow him on Facebook, you can go to his page and give money. Corey Smash, you can give money to his page. Your friend Adam is going to do deadlift only up there this year, and he's raising money for kids.
He's got an amazing deadlift for as little as he is too.
Yeah, I mean,
tiny guy pulling a lot of weight.
Yeah, so I mean, if you could put some links in this, you know, because if people want to give to a good cause where everything goes for the children, this is the one.
Good one.
Yeah.
There's so many others that are out there that are, you know, a little bit shaky or different, or they have, you know, 80% of their money is actually administrative fees.
Yeah.
Their CEO's making $500,000 a year. It's like, well, I don't necessarily want to give to that.
Yeah, no.
You know, I want the money to go to where it's supposed to.
And when you can see the families that this helps, you know, I mean, they're there. I mean, that's the whole thing. And I mean, you know, God bless them parents, man. I mean, what they got to deal with and stuff is just, I can't even fathom it. Right. I mean, to have to deal with what they deal with has got to be just horrible. But you know, but they do it. They're troopers, and they fight through. And them kids, I say it every time, they're stronger than any man on that platform. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt.
Absolutely.
You know, and I screw the injury, screw how bad I feel. We're gonna get it, and I don't care what we got to do to make it happen. So I came back and I did Relentless the first year and had a lot of fun. It was great. I was paired with little Danny, and Danny is one of the sweetest little girls that has ever walked on the planet. And you know, and no matter how sick she is, you know, she's still happy. And you know, and like
so when they're doing this, each lifter gets one kid that gets rolled up there with them when they do their lift, or do you just have like a set amount of kids that are out in front of you?
No, the kids, it's an all-day event, and the powerlifting is going on, but the kids they have like a fun zone where the kids can go play in other rooms and everything else, and then they come up and they just come to watch the lifters, and they come in and out all day long. You know, I mean, so you might have 50 kids on stage at one time, and then you might have 10 kids on stage, and then 25 and then 100 kids on stage. You know, they all come up when they want to, just to watch you lift. And when you go up there and you see them, and you know, and you see them, you know, just they get one day to be a kid. You know, I mean, these are kids that are in the hospital and you know, fighting for their lives, and you know, and they get one day where they don't have to worry about that. They get to play, and you know, there's guys walking around with tiaras on their head and wearing tutus, and you know, and face paint, and you know, and wildest haircuts, and you know, and for me, it was it was the greatest thing that I have ever been a part of, is in the lifting world. And you know, and they were real good to me and asked me, you know, a couple times to come. And you know, this year I'm not going to be able to lift because of everything going on and stuff. Last year I fought through a pretty tough time, you know, health wise, going up there, and I did it anyway. And I totaled the worst that I've totaled since my first meet. But I was more proud of that meet than any of them, just because of, you know, fighting through being sick and stuff. And I had great people with me, you know, Chris Miller, you know, from Iron Mafia, and you know, the whole Miller family is amazing people. And you know, but me and Chris, he's like my brother. He's just a great individual. And so this year he's taking my place. You know, he's gonna go up there and lift in my stead.
That's awesome. And it says a lot to him too that he already has some great brothers, and he's always looking for that next one.
Yeah,
another brother to add to the list. You know, and I've met the Millers several times, and they are some of the hardest working people I've ever seen.
True.
They put work into so many meets all across the state, the region. I mean, they're all over the place. They're in every state now. They're doing it in Tennessee now. Mm-hmm. You guys have one coming up in October. They're going to be doing for you at your daughter's middle school.
Yes,
so,
yes.
That's going to be a really big deal. Introduce, you know, that sport to those kids. But those guys work so hard, and they all have day jobs.
Yes.
Ain't nobody getting rich off fucking powerlifting.
No, they're not.
When I find out who those people are, I'm going to emulate what the hell they do. But none of them are getting rich. Just like in Strongman, none of us are getting rich.
No.
From the top down. And I mean, I know everybody in Strongman. There's really not anybody that I don't. None of them are fucking rich. Not one of them. The guy who created CrossFit, that dude's rich.
That guy's rich, yes.
That dude's just breaking down. Anybody who makes golf stuff, rich. All of us, struggling.
Yeah.
Like we're all like paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get by. So, with Relentless, are you going to go back this year and watch?
Yes, I'm going to be Chris's handler. I still want to be a part of it. And, you know, I mean, just to touch on it, just so, you know, we don't dance around the subject. Last year when I went, I was in renal failure and actually competed. You know, when I was up there, my kidneys were only functioning at like 18%. And so, you know, it was a bad day. Like I was throwing up all day long, and, you know, I mean, the back pain was just horrible. And then, you know, on my opening squat, you know, the pain in my back from my kidneys, you know, being so swollen and stuff was bad. And I kind of shifted on the way down, and I compressed a disc, and, you know, compressed a nerve, and my whole left side went to sleep. And so the rest of the day we spent fighting through a back injury, and, you know, throwing up after every single lift. And, you know, but we were putting on a smile for the kids. And
did they ever see that pain?
No.
Did it ever come out on the platform?
No. We fought through it and went to the back and, you know, doubled over. But, you know, we made it through the meet, and that was big. And then, you know, I was able to get over that. And, you know, what Dave's talking about now, what him and Chad are talking about is I had a heart attack. It was a small one, wasn't a big deal. I literally took 2 aspirin and an Nexium, and I was at the Arnold this year when it happened. Mm-hmm. And then came back, still wasn't feeling great, and went to the doctor and found out that, you know, I got congestive heart failure. And there's only 2 kinds of congestive heart failure. You know, one of them is, you know, caused by blockages, and one of them is just your heart's dying. And I got the kind that your heart's just dying. So only 28% of my heart's still working. And, you know, the ejection fraction, because my heart was in a constant state of AFib, was only 25%, so I wasn't getting a lot of blood flow through my body. So I was real tired all the time and everything. And so we ended up kind of I had heart surgery a couple weeks ago, and they went in and burned all the places in my heart that was causing the AFib. So now the 28% that's still alive is going to work better. So I'll be feeling hopefully a lot better than I have. I mean, as far as like lifting heavy, them days are done. But now we're just going to make everybody else stronger. That's the goal. But no, so I can't do Relentless. But as far as being a part of Relentless, as long as they need somebody to load plates, spot, handle, mop the floor, I mean, I'll be there to support that.
Absolutely, it's a great program that they have, and I hope it continues for many, many years to come, and I hope it grows. I think every state should have some form of Relentless.
Well, Hope Kids just came to Tennessee this year. They're starting that, and I have, if they need me to help with a meet down here, we'll do whatever whenever they decide to do it. I mean, Hope Kids is the main thing behind Relentless. Relentless is just a meet for the kids, and I mean, I love their tagline. It's strong men and women and stronger kids, because let's face it, them kids are stronger than anybody else on the platform. Absolutely,
because they can somehow come to grips with it, whereas grown folks can't.
Yeah,
grown folks can't really deal with it. They've got too much to lose, and those kids have never gotten anything. They're just happy to be alive.
They're just happy to be alive. They're just happy to see somebody come up, and you got Marshall coming in there with his mohawk and his spikes through his nose, and big scary strong men like Corey. I've known Corey for years. But then I get out there. I mean, I competed in a cowboy hat, so
I think I've always seen you in a cowboy hat. When it's at a meet, it's something that's prestigious, that's official. I mean, that's how we find you. Because really and truly, being at the Arnold, look for the big bald guy with a beard. Does not fucking help.
No, they don't work. They don't do well. Yeah.
Like you can definitely get lost in that crowd. You look like everybody else. But when you see that damn cowboy hat, oh wait, there's Bull. I found him, and he's 14 rows over, because that place is packed. A lot of our listeners probably have attended the Arnold or seen it, or they want to. Mm-hmm. And the thing they've got to know is, do not just go in looking for the big bald guy with a beard. It's just not going to work out well for you. Look for the strong guy.
Yeah.
No, it ain't going to work.
No. I've been wearing a cowboy hat since I was 12. So, it's just me.
Yeah. It's a part of who Bull is and that persona. I'm lucky enough I get to see you kind of outside of that world too. And it's the same level of energy. You just don't expend it the same way. You don't hoot and holler all the time, but it's always there.
Yeah,
it's always cocked and ready to go.
Well, being a lifter, it's walking a fine line between being cocky and confident. Because when you walk up to that bar, you have got to be confident enough to know that you can do it. And I tell everybody, you beat the bar from the top. You beat it before you even grab it. And because if you go in half cocked and be like, I might not get this. I don't know. It's heavy. My last set didn't go too well. You don't even touch the bar. You're beat before you start. So go into every lift like, I got this. There ain't nothing that can beat me. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a phrase that you've always used that I absolutely stole from you. I give you every bit of credit for it. But when somebody comes to me before a meet, before a big lift, and they're like, well, what advice do you got for me? I was like, well, ask them a few questions. I say, well, did you train hard? Did everything go good in training? Do you know what all your cues are? Do you know what you have to do underneath that bar? Do you know exactly every single step? They're like, well, yeah. I was like, then don't suck.
Don't suck.
That is all you need to do.
Yeah.
Because if you go up there and you grab that bar and you don't suck, then you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And it kind of snaps them out of something, because they're in their fucking head too much.
Exactly.
They got to stop thinking about what that weight is, what the number is, what the reps they need, or anything else, or the other competitors, the other lanes, the judging differences. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you go up there and you don't suck, you will win.
And that's how that came about. Literally, that saying of just don't suck. And and it does kind of transpire into everything of life. And I do want to get this point across. I don't have like bullet points or anything of stuff that I wish we'd talk about or say. I mean, it's just conversation. But I always tell people about any kind of competition or anything else. When you go up to a meet, people are going to remember your character long after they remember your numbers. And so, you know, if you go up and you're a good guy, you know, that's, people are always going to remember that. And so don't be the douchebag in the back just because you're beating everybody, you know. Be the douchebag in the back. It's like, hey man, you ain't got nobody you want to hand off, you know. I mean, and so don't just suck under the bar. Don't suck at life, you know.
Absolutely.
Be a good human.
Because, you know, as much information as I have about you, what I don't know is your best total. It's a number that I never worried about because it didn't matter.
No, and it you know, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I never was the greatest lifter, you know, but
and yet at the same time, you were the greatest lifter.
In my mind, yes. I tell people all the time, you know, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean,
but I mean, it hits on so many different levels, you know. To be the greatest lifter is to be the best person.
Well,
you know, and when you're the favorite person at the meet, it doesn't mean you're the strongest, doesn't mean you're weakest, but when you're the best person, that's what counts. And you're that guy who will go help somebody else, that will rap for them. You'll get down there and you'll sweat your ass off rapping for them, and you'll be just covered in it and just so excited.
Yes,
and it's like every meet that I see you at, it's like it's your first one because you're that eager. And you know, to reference this to some of our listeners, it's like Christmas morning for Bull. Every single time he's out there, and every PR that's set or every lift that's made, it's another present that gets opened.
Love him.
I still get that feeling of when I see somebody else get a PR, I get that little cold chill and the hair on the back of my neck, which there's not much hair back there. I try to take care of that, but I still get that feeling every single time I see somebody set a PR, and that's what tells me I still love this sport.
Yeah.
It's if I still get that rush of adrenaline and those endorphins released every single time, then why not overload on that shit? Because it's not running out. There's plenty of lifters out there that I can be proud of.
Sure.
And you're a big reason why that is. You know, you've made it possible for so many lifters out there to be able to do what they do, and I don't even think they know it. They have no idea right now that you've helped them so much. But in 10 years, they're going to look back and go, damn, I wish everybody would have had a bull and a shorty hanging out. Because if they would have, the sport would be so much bigger. And
I just yell a lot, man.
Bullshit. That's what I'm calling it. That is a bunch of bullshit right there. You know, you've really reached a lot of people, and you know, with Bull Apparel, it's reaching even more.
One of the greatest things in the world is, you know, I walked into the Arnold and I saw somebody wearing a Bull Strong shirt, and you know, and it was somebody I'd never met before,
and they didn't know who you were.
No, and you know,
that's great.
Yes, and then I went to I was at Relentless one year, the first or second year I was there. I don't remember which one, you know, but it's in Minnesota, and you know, we're here in Tennessee. And somebody walked in. There was a girl, and she had on, you know, my "Stay humble but let these bitches know" shirt.
Great shirt.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know, I mean, you know, don't act like you're the cockiest, but remind everybody why you're there. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's it. And I walked up to her, and I'm like, "I love your shirt. Can I get a picture made with you?" And she looked at me like, just like, okay. And I was like, I know it sounds creepy, but I'm actually Bull. That's my shirt. And you know. And she's like, and, you know, and she goes, "Oh, okay," you know. Then it was all right, but it was funny. It was just it was kind of pride to think about, just a saying that you were sitting back one night thinking about in the hole, and you put it on a shirt, and somebody thought enough of it in another state to buy it. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the lockout or pass out shirt, which was our first one, that came out with me and Big Frank Phillips was at. Actually, the first meet I met you at, Beast of the Bluegrass.
Oh, yeah.
Several years ago.
We definitely got to tell that story.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a fun story.
We were there, and you know, Big Frank was sitting there, and this boy was pulling a deadlift, and the next thing you know, Frank looked over and he goes, "Bull, look at this boy," and he had it like almost to his knees and had stopped but didn't go down, and he was blue. I mean, he had gone past red. I mean, he was trained so long. He every bit of blood and air was gone from that boy. but he wouldn't quit. He just kept going, and he kept pulling it up slowly. And I just turned around and looked at Frank, and I said, well, he's either going to lock out or pass out. That's it. And then Frank goes, that's cool. It should be on the shirt. And I was like, that actually should. And so that's how that shirt came about. That was there. And that was where it was.
So when is the next rollout for the next great Bull Strong shirt? You've got some good ones.
I do. They've been around a while. It's time to do it. But the thing about when you have a shirt business that is not made to make money, it costs a lot to carry an inventory and to do all this stuff, and coming out with new designs. You're out a lot of money before you even start. And so I got like 3 in my head. And I don't know which one we're going to come out with. I mean, last year or 6 months ago when we come out with the girls, the one, pull till you pee. I mean, if you're
Lord knows I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, if you're a female lifter, you get it, and it's nothing offensive about it. It's just part of it. So that means you were trying.
Yeah.
And
the only thing I didn't like when it would happen to me, like at the Arnold or something else, is I always have a towel with me because usually I'm sweating profusely through the whole show because I'm running around like a madman. The only thing that bothered me was I had laid my towel down on a chair that was for my face.
Yes.
And they used it to clean up after somebody had went. And I walked over and I said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not where I left my towel. What was this towel used for?" And then they told me, and I said, "Oh, good. You can keep that.
You could have that one. That
one's free. It's from the hotel. Red Roof will gladly donate that because I'm not taking that shit back. Because I almost had it up to my face to wipe sweat again, and I may have been pissed if that had happened.
Literally.
Yeah. They say it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. I'd have been both.
No doubt. You would have had them both.
But it's a part of what we do, and I see some girls that get, they get ashamed of it, or they're so sorry, they just kind of slink off. And I'm like, guys, it's no big deal. It's really not. I'll get a towel, I'll clean it up. Don't worry about it. Go and focus on your next lift. You got another thing coming, but I want to make sure it's not wet for the next girl that comes.
Sure. Yes, no doubt.
That's rough.
I don't know. Next shirt, one of the ideas I had was if you've been in a gym long enough and you are a respectful gym member, like I always was before I owned a gym, because like I would get mad at somebody if they were like throwing dumbbells from the top, instead of like trying to have, I understand kind of tossing them to the ground once they get like to their hips. Yeah. But you got some guys over there doing incline press with dumbbells and they'll take it from a locked position and just drop, the 120s and stuff. And, when it's yours, you get a little pissed. But when I was just a gym member and they would do that kind of stuff, I'd turn and look at them and say, "Hey, jackass, I got to use that tomorrow. If you break it, I can't," and
absolutely.
And then, it was annoying when you would walk up to a bar and, it would still be loaded, from the last guy who just turned around and walked off. And, that always angered me. So I have kind of thought about for the next Bull Strong shirt, maybe like, I'm so strong, I re-rack my own weight.
Ooh, that hits home for some people. Yeah. The good news is most people that leave the weight on the deadlift bar, it's never more than like 405 because they can't lift that fucking much anyway. And probably they didn't know how to lift it with one hand to take a plate off.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah, they were like, "I don't know where the jack is, so I'm just going to leave this."
Just going to leave it there.
Yeah. What I love is when they leave the leg press loaded up. And this is in every gym I've ever been in.
Yeah.
You walk in, you see leg press, and there's 2,000 pounds on it. I'm like, first of all, you have no business doing 2,000 pounds on anything ever. Why the fuck did you leave it on there just for the next girl to come in to look at that and go, "Yeah, I'm not going to lift that today. I'm going to move on." And it discourages people.
It does. We used to have 100-pound plates, and we left them in there for the leg press, but people wouldn't take them off, and and we ended up having to pull them from the floor just because idiots wouldn't unrack them.
Right.
And so we had an elderly gentleman using the leg press and dropped it on his foot. And and I was like, they're done. That's it.
Hundreds are great for that individual lifter that really wants them, but they're not great for a gym.
No, and
they just don't work in that function. They're good in the hole.
Yeah.
But it depends on where they're setting them.
Sure.
If they set them flat down on the floor,
and
they're an asshole.
I hate you. Yeah. You're officially a dick.
And I'm all for some grip work, but you know what? I hate you at that point because I'm gonna try to get something to pry underneath of it to prop it up onto a 2.5 and then pick it up. Because, man, fuck looking up hundreds without that.
I agree.
That's just insane. Unless you're Ode Haugen, and then you can just hub lift it.
Ode Haugen can do anything. I mean, that man's grip is just ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
And a good dude, you know. I mean, one of my favorite memories was hanging out with him and, you know, drinking beer at that, I don't know, that little bar we went to that night after was at the Arnold, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, we went to Arnold. Yeah. That was a fun time. So I want to come back to how you and I met at Beast Bluegrass. I think that was, I want to say 2016?
Probably somewhere.
17.
I don't know.
Might have been 16. I'm not sure.
I think it
I'm
was
not sure
16.
It feels like we've known each other for 30 years.
Yes.
So I'm okay with that part of it.
Sure.
So we don't have to necessarily put a date on it.
Okay.
But we go, and I'm running the Moss tournament there. Strongman was already taken care of. They had their state rep. They were good. And you were over there doing powerlifting. And we were over there just doing like demos. And we actually had Ode Haugen's son there, OJ.
Yes.
Who's a very good Moss wrestler. Very talented on the world stage. You know, has done the world competitions. Very athletic. Very, very strong guy.
Yeah.
And you just happened to walk by, and we were like, "Hey, do you want to try this shit?" And you walked up in cowboy boots and jeans and your big ass hat, and you walked up there and you're like, "Okay, what do I do?" Sit down, put your feet here, grab this stick, don't let him have it. And we gave you the go command, and you were like, "So I just pull?" "Yeah, sure, just pull as hard as you can." And OJ was going against you at that time, just to kind of teach you some form, and we're trying to work through it. And then I look back and I see OJ flying through the air several feet all the way off of the stage that we were on. It was like a 16 by 20 stage. And off he goes. Luckily, he's very athletic because they were on his feet like a cat. But we're like, wait a minute. Did that just fucking happen? Wait, do that again and let's see what happens. And the second time, he was a little more ready for it, but he still went in the air. He just didn't fly off the stage that time.
Well, you know there's more to that story than you're telling.
There is.
Okay, all right.
So-
Because the truth of the matter is I was up at the powerlifting part, and then they come back here and they said, "Hey, look, there's this guy back here, and he's one of the I don't know the weight classes. I forgot offhand, but he's one of the smaller ones, and he likes to go against big people, and they call him the Giant Killer." And he wants to take on somebody from every one of the events there that day. That was how this was told to me, and I'm like, and they want you to go back here and do Moss. And I said, hold on a minute. All right, I know nothing. I didn't know what Moss was at the time. They said Moss wrestling, and I literally, when I stood up, I was like, all right. So some guy says that he wants. I said, out of everybody here, he wants to go against me. And and I was like, because I didn't know easy win. And at the time, I thought we were going to wrestle. It was like, when I went back there, I didn't know if it was going to be like sumo or what, but I don't care if it's pickup sticks. You throw down a challenge, I am there. Mm-hmm. So, so when I went back there, I was like, we hold a stick and we go. Well, then after I beat OJ, I left and I went back up to the front. And one of the guys that had been competing come back and said that they were back there talking, and they said that you cheated. And I said, how did I cheat at a game I never played before? And they said, well, you didn't. You set up a little far. He was over the board before you came across. You didn't do it even, and stuff. And that if it was a legit match, he would beat you. Okay. I was like, so, round two. And that was why I come back. Mm-hmm. But I loved it, man. Moss doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It's such a fun sport, and and then to see what it's becoming over here. It's getting popular, but to see it in other countries of how big it is and how big of a deal it is, and everything else. And and we were lucky enough to have one of my guys on my powerlifting team, Logan Emery, who's just a great, big, powerful man. He's just a great, strong dude, and just a great guy. Just really just good dude, good heart. He's one of those true friends. He's a where guy. He'll be there. It doesn't matter what I need him for, or anybody. He's just a good fellow. And we got him into Moss, and turns out he was really good.
Yeah, and he started out really good, which a lot of people don't necessarily have that kind of aptitude that he did. I remember when we found Logan, he was back there powerlifting. I was there. It was after a whiskey and deadlift day on a Saturday, and I came up on a Sunday. So I was pretty well just spent anyway. And I was like, let me see this total thing. Because I'd never totaled before. Ever in my life. Because I didn't give a shit. So I was like, if I just get to the 4-digit mark, I'll be really happy. So I did that.
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
got that number, and I was happy with it. And I didn't care because I'm not a great powerlifter.
No, you're strong.
Never
Two different
won.
things, yeah.
Completely different sport. Might as well be fucking cycling and running. Just completely different. And we pulled the Moss board out because it's going to be fun. And there's a few guys that came up and they tried. They're like, well, yeah, I'll go against you. And I was like, okay, I'm not that strong. You saw me powerlifting back then.
Yeah.
I'm weak as fuck.
No.
Girls were doing better numbers than me. And it was fine. But they sat down on the Moss board with me. And then they're like, whoa, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Yeah. And then even Shane sat down.
Yeah, I was about to say, you beat Shane Hammock that day.
Yeah.
A
And
900 deadlifter. I
Yeah,
mean,
which is fucking amazing because there's only, 10 of those in the world right now?
no doubt.
There's not many. So we sit down and I pull him, and then somebody runs back there to tell Logan. Says, "Hey, there's this guy up here beating everybody. You got to go beat him." And at this point, this was like 6 matches in a row in about 8 minutes that I had done. And then Logan comes up and he grabs a stick, and it felt a little different when he grabbed it. I was like, okay, but I guess he just wanted it more than I did that day. And he beat me, and it's the first time I'd lost in Moss in a while. And I was like, oh, this guy's something special.
Yeah.
This guy's a little different. Let's see what we can do with that. And after that, I talked to him a few weeks later, and I was like, look, man, do you want to really be good at this? And he said, yeah, I want to actually put the time into it and be ready. And we started training, and we got him ready. He qualified for the USA team, and then he went to the Arnold and took second place. And this was 2 years ago, because this year was Devontae. And he's brought more people into the sport because he actually is the one to help bring Devontae in, who's second in the world now.
Very strong kid. Very strong.
So Moss has a way of growing in very small increments, but for the right reasons and the right people. I wish we could have the masses, but it's so hard to get that reach.
True.
In the rest of the world, it's easy. I mean, it's a national sport. They have training centers dedicated to Moss in other countries.
I know. It's crazy.
Here we have, hey man, do you have a 2x4? How about a 2x10? Let's put it down and see what happens. And actually, you bought one of the first boards I ever made, and now I make all the official boards for everybody. So it's kind of grown from that.
True.
But I mean, you still have one of the very first boards I ever made, the one that I trained on myself.
It's a prototype.
That's the one. That you have. And it means the world that you were able to bring Moss into your gym. And that's another thing about your gym. Is you're not afraid to put new things in there.
No.
A new sport comes up, you're like, bring it. It's not, well, our people don't do that. The Spartan races, you have one of those fucking curved walls. I would never think in a million years to put that in the gym, because that's for a specific kind of people that I don't necessarily want or know about. But you put it in because you had members that say, hey, I want this.
Yeah, we have Spartan racers, and they wanted to practice on a warped wall, so we built a warped wall.
Yeah, and you've always been able to accommodate everybody.
Sure. And some of the tournaments we've had up there from Moss was fun.
Oh man, so much fun.
I mean, just the trash talking and I was lucky enough to get in a victory over Logan, and I never would go against him again and never will. I'm still, I mean, it's like I beat him. I won. And
at that time, he was progressing very quickly.
Yes.
And I think you caught him at just the right time to put his ego right back into check and go, hey, wait, let's remember who Bull is.
Yeah.
And he's challenged you, I don't know how many times.
Oh, 1,000.
But it's never going to happen.
No, never going again.
It's 1-0.
Never going again.
Undefeated.
It's like me and Devontae.
Yep.
I got Devontae. Never happening again.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And he's so much better than he ever was.
Of course he is.
But, I mean, he's gotten really, really good. He's middle of the weight cut now. But phenomenal athlete.
Yes. Strong
both
kid.
of those guys, just great people. Mm-hmm. And for them to both come out of this small region, it says a lot for what the sport is.
Sure.
You don't have to be the strongest guy.
No.
You just have to be the best.
Yeah. And
so you can be good, or you can be good at it.
Yeah, and you can be smart.
That's right.
You got to have, and plus, if you can talk a lot of smack before it starts and get in people's heads, sometimes that helps too.
Absolutely, because these younger guys, they don't understand that. And even when we brought Mary Kane up, I mean, we've had a lot of really
Mary Kane is amazing. She's such a good athlete.
Great Moss wrestlers come through Just Be Fit, and it's known for powerlifting. It's known for the memberships and the great people and everything else, but people don't realize there's this whole other sport that's that little board that sits in the turf room.
Yeah.
They look at it and they go, "There's a board there."
Yeah.
And they walk on. They don't realize that, 3 of the top lifters in the world have trained on that
same board. Yeah.
Or had tournaments in that gym. And when we're there and we're asking them, "Hey guys, you wanna try Moss?" They're like, what the hell's that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that shit is. But you guys brought that into your gym because it was something new, it was something different, and you saw the benefit of it.
Yeah. Well, it gave people another chance to compete. It gave people a chance to have some fun. And man, I love competition, and competition breeds champions. And so we can make each other better by competing against each other and having just breaking up the monotony. I mean, this is fun stuff, but I mean, there's only so much you can keep doing the same thing, going here one day. And I mean, you said it best one time, Moss is like a deadlift that's mad at you. And
That's absolutely right.
That's exactly what it is. And it's just a ball to do. It's absolutely fun.
I really like taking it to schools, like for football teams, wrestling teams, and it being, the deciding factor in an argument. Oh, you guys want to bitch about this? Neither one of you are right, but you guys want to bitch about it? Take it to the board. Whoever wins can talk as much shit as they want.
That's one of the reasons why I got started. They put it in ports of call and put it in bars, and that way, when sailors would come in, instead of getting drunk and fighting, they'd put them on a moss board, show who's the strongest. And one of the guys on my team, a guy named Travis Nelson, who's an awesome coach, does online coaching and stuff too. He became a strength coach over at one of the colleges in Texas, and he wanted a moss board for there, to get the guys to compete a little bit and have some fun and do some strength training and stuff. So I mean, it's getting out there. Yeah. And you got Janelle Vedker.
Janelle is a badass, man. She's like a Mexican jumping beat on the moss board. She does absolutely wonderful things out there. And we've had, Nicole Hyam has been there. Janelle Vedker's been there. Who else have we had down at the gym that's fantastic at Moss? Ariel came down. One of the strongest little people you ever see in your life. Tiny hands is what I call her, because her grip doesn't touch around the moss board or around the moss stick. Her fingers don't actually reach her hands. That's how tiny her hands are. But you know what? She takes every licking that she gets with a grain of salt, and she keeps coming back for more.
Yeah. And
she beats people. She absolutely does. She all of 120 pounds soaking wet holding a brick. She's told me she weighs 130. I don't believe her. I think she's full of shit.
Yeah.
If she's 130, it's because she's holding a brick.
Yeah.
So
weigh-ins don't lie.
Yeah. And I got to look at that weigh, and I'm like, nah, man, you got all your clothes on, and you think you weigh 130. Like, no. But we had so many great people come through that gym just for that sport. Then you look at the powerlifting side and the strongman and everything else. It's phenomenal. So I want to go back and touch on one thing real quick.
Okay.
You said that, with your dad, you would have done anything for him to be able to just go and lift with you one time. That happens sometimes in our sports. And I want to talk about the one that happened this last year at Iron Warrior, where Justin and Bud got to go and lift at the same event. And Bud was really, really resistant to wanting to compete. Because like, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not this, I'm not anything else. I'm like, dude, you get to go compete with your dad.
Yeah.
That right there means...
That means everything.
That means everything. I don't give a shit what numbers you get, what place you finish, and I don't remember. Yeah. I'll have to go back and look at the spreadsheet to see where he finished in his class. All I remember is, man, how great is that a father and son are competing together at the same show.
Yeah.
That really,
that's special. And again, great family, great people. I mean, there's so many people that I would like to, to like talk about that affect my life and stuff. And there's just so many, I mean, everybody on my team, Big Frank, Michael Holt, Dakota, Chandler,
Stephen Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie, you got the girls, Olivia and Kayla and, Dana, who's just a tremendous athlete and, has tried very unassuming and just came in and then I found out, she was like a black belt in karate, and I mean, she's done a little bit of it all, and then, we got some of the stronger guys that have been with us for a long time, like Justin, and then, Susan and Mike, and I mean just everybody that comes in has grown into family and stuff. And then the powerlifting world, the Millers, all of them, Mark, Dusty, Matt, Chris, and all their wives. I mean, Shayna and Kelly and Angie, they're all just tremendous people. I mean, with big hearts that would do anything. And, when I was sick, they were the ones that were reaching out and stuff. And, I mean, you just don't forget that. And then the gym, we've been lucky with the gym because, people come into town and they ask, when they come to Nashville, where to go train at and stuff. And, we've had a lot of big names come in to the gym, and stuff and compete, that I never thought, would ever,
just had Ray Williams come in not too long ago, didn't you?
Yes. Ray and, his now wife as of this weekend, Jasmine,
Congratulations.
Yes,
to
no
them,
doubt.
for sure.
They're just tremendous people. I mean, like really just real good, humans, I mean, it's the best way to put it. I mean, Ray come in and, me and Ray started texting before he came in, he'd put it out on Instagram. He's going to be in Nashville. He's looking for a gym. And, and they asked me and I listed, the places around town, I mean, because don't get me wrong. I want everybody to come to my gym, but, Wade Johnson with the Ogre Compound, great gym. A lot of great lifters have come out of there. His wife Missy is tremendous, and Jen McMillan, is one of the best ever. Has come out of there, and then you got Southside. You've got a lot of great lifters and stuff that have been out there too, and so it's been. We've been lucky that a lot of them just kind of popped into our place, and then when they did, I mean, Monica Brown come in. And she was actually funny. She started posting stories when she was there, and one of our guys actually left work to come up there to meet her. He was like, I just want to meet you. I just want to say hi. So and that's awesome that we have a place that people actually want to come train at, and that it says a lot for the sport. I mean, like I said, Shane's been down a lot. We've had a couple West Side guys come in, and just everybody who's in town, they usually come down and get in a lift.
I mean, that's really the meeting place. When I brought Mary Kane up, she drove up from Columbus, Georgia. We're talking a 6-hour drive, just to come do Moss for 2 hours. And it was really monumental in her training and where she went with it, because she identifies that, yes, she's great at what she does. She's a fantastic trainer. She's good at nutrition. She does everything the right way, but she has trainers.
Yes.
For everything that she does, she'll hire a trainer. And it's not because she makes a ton of money, because she knows what she wants.
Yes.
And she finds the best people to do that. And that's why she sought us out for Moss. And now she's the best in the world.
Oh, there's no doubt.
There's not another woman out there in an absolute class. And I think she's going to actually go for the under 85 kilo class. I don't think there's another woman out there that's going to beat her. She's only lost one time, and that was in Worlds in Russia, at Yakutsk, the coldest place on the planet, I think. She only lost one time, and that was the girl that was first. And she comes back to the Arnold and just destroys everybody.
Yes.
Like it wasn't even a contest.
No.
It was. I'm questionable if I could beat her or not. It'd be tough.
Oh, I know I can't. I just give her the stick.
That's not gonna work.
There you go. You win.
She's so explosive, so powerful. I saw her 2 weeks ago down at Georgia's Strongest Man, and I was talking to the promoter there, and I told this story in the last podcast, but I didn't tell it to you. So, Mary was coming down there, and I knew she was coming, and I talked to Scott, who's a promoter down there, state chair, and I was like, "Oh, you got Mary coming? Well, she's gonna win." He's like, "Well, you don't know who else we got." I was like, "It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't care.
I don't give a shit who you got coming. Mary's gonna win." And he's like, "Wow, man, we'll have to see." And then she went through and she dominated everything, with the exception of the farmer's walk, which she lost by I think 0.5 of a second.
Yeah.
Because it was with a turn, so it was just taking the step the right way. It wasn't about strength. It was about how to walk with a couple hundred pounds in each hand.
I saw her stones.
Oh yeah.
Golly, that was quick.
She has this wonderful routine after stones. of running and jumping on me for some freaking reason because she has tacky all over and she knows I hate tacky.
Everybody hates tacky.
And she comes and just wraps up everything she can around me. And I'm so happy for her because usually it's when she knows that she's won.
Yeah.
She's probably won about 3 events in. But when she finishes stone, she always has a really good time and it's good. And she comes, she hugs me, and I was like, damn it, why do you like the tacky on me? And she'll hug me first. She'll stop doing stones and she'll look for me. And find out where I'm at. Her head's spinning, and then she finds me. And I tried to outrun her once. It didn't work. I kind of slipped.
Man, I mean, you shouldn't even try that.
I wanted to run away, but I couldn't get through the crowd, and it just, I just took it.
I've always said, if you see me running, just, try to keep up. Because, I mean, it's bad. I'm out of bullets or there's a bomb going off. I mean,
we're all going to die.
Yeah, and one of these days, I am going to die, but I guarantee you they didn't find me in a ditch with a pair of running shoes on.
Absolutely. That's not be what it is.
Might be why my heart's so bad. But
no. I think you've gotten quite enough cardio beats in there with heavy weight.
Yeah. I used to tell people, hey, man, I do cardio every day. It's a long walk from the parking lot back to where the weights are.
Yeah, yes. And sometimes you got to walk like around stuff, turn sideways. Like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But, in this world, we're only gifted with a few people. And I think that you and I are beyond blessed in the amount of amazing people that we know.
Guaranteed.
10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought, oh man, I'm going to know all the greatest people in the world and all the strongest people in the world. And not because they have the titles and not because, they have all these records. Because I know all them too.
Yeah.
But I know people like you, people like Shorty and Chad Clark that have the biggest hearts in the world. And even with yours at 28%, it's still a bigger heart than 90% of people I've ever met in my life.
Well, thanks.
So at full power, I can't even imagine. But even at this state right now, I mean, you're just that great of a guy, man.
Oh, no.
And it's an honor that somebody came and called you out for Moss. I'm so glad of that. They said you was a bitch, and you showed up, and this is what's happened. This is what has formed a great friendship and a great relationship between you guys. And for me, I look at it as I'm the lucky one. And it's not ever the other way around.
I don't know about that now. I ain't ever met anybody that didn't like you, brother.
Oh, they're out there.
Oh, I'm sure there's one or two. But,
yeah, like my ex-wife or my ex.
No, she definitely hates you.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of them that fucking hate me.
But that's okay. I hate them. There you go. So it all works out.
But I mean, it really speaks the truth. And when we see the response to this, if it's great, cool. If it's not, I don't give a fuck. Because this is my conversation with you, and that's what it's all about.
Wow.
Talking about you, talking about what you've done in your life. These stories are what keep us going. Nobody was born the strongest man in the world.
No,
they had to work for it.
Guaranteed they did.
So you've worked hard to be who you are today, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, brother. Like I said, you've been a good friend for a long time, so I appreciate it tremendously. And I hope that these sports keep going and keep getting bigger. And I do kind of miss sometimes I do miss the cult version of powerlifting of like people don't do it, and the people that do are big crazy scary people. Because now now with social media you got guys out there that competed one time and and now they're an online coach and
or thought about competing.
I was going to do it. I was getting ready for a meet, and
so now I can show you how to
now I can show you how to do it. I watched West Side versus the World. I saw how things happen.
Yeah with that particular group up there with Louis, that's just a different. It's a different.
Whole different breed. I mean, but just world class athletes that just
Is there another place in the world that's had more strong people come through it than West Side?
No.
I mean, that's really Mecca.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, and they're all, they have big egos and they have big totals, and but every single one of them that I've ever met have always been good to me. Yeah. I mean, and that's the God's honest truth. I mean, I've been very fortunate in this sport. There are very few people that I've ever met that I will say is just a complete and total dick. I mean, there are a few, but you know, for the most part, powerlifting has always been a very positive thing for me, and I'm just glad I've had a small part of it. You know, I mean, I'm nobody in the sport at all, but I've just loved every second.
In there with that's a bunch of bullshit.
No,
that's the reason why you're here now.
No,
you are definitely somebody in this sport.
I'm just somebody who loves to lift and loves to help other people get there. You know, I remember competing and going against somebody and walking off the platform and then stopping and turning around and cheering for them to beat me. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what it's about for me, because I ain't there to win. I mean, trophies are cool. I got a whole sack full of them in the garage somewhere in a bag. I keep one trophy displayed at the gym, and it was Strong Jesus. it literally looks like, you know, Jesus pulling up chains, and you know, and I always thought it was a funny trophy because it's ugly, and you know, and it was like this, it was like this is awesome. This one's got to stay out, but the rest of them, you know, I never did it. I never did it for the trophies. I did it because I love lifting weights, and you know, and being strong is cool, and but the friendships that I've made from it, and the life that has transpired, and you know, it took a fat little nerdy kid, and you know, and turned him into, you know,
it was redheaded with freckles.
Redheaded with freckles. Yes, redheaded with freckles, and you know, turned him into a pretty strong guy who, you know, I'm not afraid to win anymore, you know, and that came from lifting.
It's an important message to give back, is that you're going to get back whatever you put in. And if you just show up to the gym every day and you just pushing shit around, you're not going to get that connection back. You're not going to get that energy returned to you the way that you will if you go in there and you give everything you've got every single time.
True.
You know, training is not fun. Prep time sucks. Every time I see somebody in prep, I'm like, okay, you're not anybody's friend this week. We're not going out for beers. Like, it's not going to happen. But once the meet is over, then it's all back to fun games. Yeah. But people, you know, they get kind of lost in the suck. They get stuck there. And then when it comes to the meet, they're not having any fun. Yeah. Because at that point, all your numbers should be set.
Yeah. You should be ready. You know about what you're going to do when you show up. Yeah. And if you have a bad day, you know what? You pick it up and you come back next time. Yeah. You know, don't.
How do you have a bad day surrounded by all those friends and family that are having a good time?
You know, I've had people bomb out of meets before, and like we were sitting at a steakhouse, you know, 20 minutes later, and like the family and stuff, everybody's sitting around like afraid to speak because, you know, the guy just bombed. I'm like, what are y'all upset about? We missed a lift. You know, we'll be back in 12 weeks and do it again. Yep. You know, it's like, this is not the end of the world. You know, I mean, if you don't fail, sometimes you wasn't trying.
That's right. I think you win more by failing than by just winning.
Oh yeah, it pisses me off.
And that's why against Devontae and Logan both, you are 1-0, and it will always be that way.
Exactly. Well, you know, Devontae, he, you know, I got him the first one, and you know, I don't think he was 100% ready for it, and then he beat me the second match. I had a cramp in my stomach as soon as I grabbed the stick. And then I remember that after he beat me, I went and I was laying down trying to get the cramp to go away in my stomach. And one of the guys that I've known in the gym for 15 years, and then after, you know, we bought Just Be Fit, you know, he came up there and started training with us. This guy named Petey. And Petey's not a competitor or anything else. But he's always there every day. You know, I mean, he comes in, does his workout, does his thing. And Petey I remember him look down at me when I was laying there stretched out trying to get that cramp out. He looked down and he go, "Boy, you gonna let that boy beat you in your gym?" And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, when you came back up there for that third match and you sat down and you looked through Devontae, he definitely felt that. His eyes got big around his $50. He was like, "Oh shit, what did I do? What has just happened?" And then he stood no chance.
But you know what I love about it? That is now his move. if you watch Devontae now walk up to the moss board, he's stomping, looking at that dude. I mean, he's like, bitch, give me the stick now. You don't even need to grab it. I done got you. And, you know, and that's awesome.
It took that failure of him, you know, being handled by you to teach him that. Because I had told him that many times before, like, hey, you need to get out of your head. You need to quit thinking about stuff. You just need to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what the hell he's doing. Read his cues, yes, but you need to do you. And it wasn't clicking for him. It wasn't clicking. And it wasn't until he got beat by you. Then a week later, he comes back in and he's like, okay, I'm focused.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
He was wrecking people after that.
And he didn't say it, but you could just see it in the way he did it. And that's what the change was. So now as he continues to get stronger, he keeps training, he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Just the only problem that's set up right now is the guy who's ahead of him on the USA team is just like him, but outweighs him by almost 100 pounds and is 8 inches taller.
Yeah, well, that makes it definitely.
But they're shaped the same way. So it's going to be really difficult for him to come up to that level. But, you know, his work ethic and his drive says he'll be able to do it. So I don't see why he can't.
No.
There's really no reason that he can't. And even if he stays second, give a damn.
He's second in the world. I mean, you know, that goes.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
And for him to just find Moss, because the reason we found Devontae is Logan came up to my gym, Bowling Green, and we were training. And, you know, as I'm coaching Logan, I can't necessarily coach from the other side of the board.
Sure, of course.
It doesn't always work that way. So I needed somebody comparable in size to Logan, which was hard because Logan was like 320 at the time. I was like, I need a big kid. And I looked around my gym and I saw Devontae. I said, you come here. He said, what's up? I was like, I need you to sit over here and just be the tackling dummy for training for him so I can work on this. And he sat down across from Logan and got his ass beat so many times, probably 30 matches in a row, just lost.
Yeah.
Just kept losing. And this was over a period of a couple of weeks. And then he started like getting excited about it. He started to want to. And then he finally got to the point where he could almost beat Logan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't like this shit. This is not good. I like dominating. I don't like almost losing.
Yeah.
And then we reached a point where he could beat Logan. And then it was during that time that transition happened that he overtook the spot. Logan went off to do powerlifting to get his other big total.
Yeah, his other big total.
His big squat. And then Devontae just kept going with Moss.
Yeah.
And then became second in the world the year after Logan had been second in the world. Yeah. So it was a great transition to see that two athletes can come out of this same area, these same gyms, out of, hey man, I need you to be here as a tackling dummy.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to make you one of the
we're going to make you one of the best in the world.
Yeah, just for fun, you know.
Well, you know, strong is a lot different for different people. You know, Louis always said, "Big ain't strong, strong is strong." Mm-hmm. And you know, but one thing that I got to mention because it just happened this past week. To me, what's strong? I don't know. You know, I think everybody out there knows Mark Miller. You know, he's 2204 total. At I think 268 body weight or 265 body weight, somewhere around there.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, just
stupid numbers.
Really. You know, tore both quads at the same time.
Were you there for that meeting?
I was there. I was actually right behind the monolift. His brother spotted him, and so so I stepped back. I was actually rear spotting that meet, just to help out, and he went down and he squatted and he tore both quad tendons off the bone. But this week, a little bit less than 10 months after surgery, he hit a 225 squat with a safety squat bar. That
is fucking awesome.
That is strong. That's what true heart is, and that's
to see him out there. I follow social media more so Shayna's than his because she posts more cool stuff. Mm-hmm. But to see them out like they're hiking, going through the woods, they're doing stuff, and a lot of people they tear a quad. That's it. They're fuck it. I'm out.
I'm done. That's it for life.
It's all over. I'm gonna limp around and baby this forever. They get a handicap sticker and it's all over. Yeah. But Mark doesn't do that.
No.
He doesn't. He doesn't make excuses. Mm-mm. Remember when we first took a moss board out there? He tore a lat that day.
Yeah.
And you could see it was bothering him, but he never bitched about it.
No,
he never complained. And then I saw the pictures afterwards, and his whole side was black. And I was like, well, that's going to be rough.
Yeah.
So we're out there at Four Brothers Gym, which when we drove out there, you told me it was like that's kind of an out of the way place. It'd be hard to find. And we drive up, and I get to this place after GPS got me lost 7 times. And I was like, where are the banjos at that should be playing? I thought I was going up to a place in Deliverance.
Yeah.
But we get to this little shed out in the middle of nowhere. And I walk in, and it's... and some of the strongest people on the planet.
Some of the baddest men on the planet have ever trained out there.
Yeah. And, we had... Josh was there.
Josh Morris, yeah.
Josh Moore, prolific powerlifter.
Tremendous.
Everybody knows who Josh Moore. And if you don't know who Josh Morris is, then you don't care about powerlifting.
No, just check out his selfies.
Yeah.
He's officially bear bait.
Oh, he is the bear.
Yes, no doubt.
Everybody models themselves after him.
Yes.
And, to hear him talk so much shit to you just kind of blew my mind when we were there. I thought it was hilarious. But we go up there and we bring him a board, which you bought for him. Which is a pretty amazing fucking board, I gotta say. And I hear it's catching dust now, so we might have to make a trip up there.
It is.
But we, set the board up and we opened their world of Tomas, and they were just kind of blown away by it. They're like, "What is this?
Mm-hmm.
How is this a real thing?" And just walking them through it, and really the girls there, they're the ones that really enjoyed it. They were like, "Man, this is so much more fun because they're not overshadowed by those huge numbers." And the thing is, all of them have over 1,000-pound totals.
Oh yeah, Kelly Miller's 12 something, 12-18 I think, or something like that.
Is she not?
Kelly Miller, yeah, it's Matt's wife.
I thought she was like almost 13.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
Miranda,
I know she's over 1,200.
Yeah, Miranda she just got over 1,200.
Miranda, I can't remember if she had 12 or 11 something, but Miranda's freaking just one of the strong. Literally the women that come out of there, Shayna, like top 10 all time. What she was doing at 97 pounds is freaking ridiculous. And then, she only got stronger. She went up. Yeah. They're all just so strong people. Matt Miller, as 1,800 total. Dusty's got 16, 1,700. Somewhere around there. And, and Chris is, Chris gonna hit 2K, at Relentless this year.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna carry his bags. That sucker ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. He's just gonna walk in. I'm like, dude, don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, because I see those guys at meets, and they're not the ones to go, hey, you go get this, you go get that. They go get it themselves.
Oh yeah.
Those 4 brothers work together so incredibly well. They're a very well-oiled machine.
True.
I remember you and I helping them after a beast meet, and they're like, "Get out of the way."
Yeah, we got this.
Y'all are in the way, and I'm like, "This is what we do." I don't like watching the people load shit and me not helping. And they ran us off, and I was like, "Well, all right." But next time, I still offered to help again. I was like, "Hey guys, you need something? I'll help." But they've just got a really well-oiled machine out there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, good people, just good family.
Absolutely. So as we draw this all up to a close,
yes.
What final words do you have out there for the seasoned lifter that might be struggling, or the new lifter that doesn't know where they want to go with it?
To the seasoned lifter, take the time to help the guy who's coming up, and to the guy who is coming up, be humble enough to listen to the guy who's trying to help you. Because if you open yourself up to critique, these guys will help you, and the guys who know a little something, teach it. Help. Just spread this sport, make this sport better, make it something you're proud to be a part of, and don't shun people. Just because they're not as strong as you, they're not bad people. They're not beneath you, and they're not worse. And guess what? You badasses out there, there's some people badder than you. So don't ever lose your humility. You want to be cocky, be funny. But when it comes time to help somebody, help them. And I'm not trying to make myself sound like some saint or anything else. I've been an ass a lot of times, but when it comes down to this sport, I always want to try to help to make somebody better. And because like I said, somebody helped me that didn't have to.
Absolutely. So if people are out there and they want to find Bull, where are they going to go? Where are you at on social media, website? You know,
we do it all. You know, we got Bull Strong on Instagram and Facebook, and it's just at Bull Strong Apparel. And then you know, our website is just bull-strong.com. And you know, just remember when you buy a shirt, there you helping another lifter.
Right. It's not going to some fat bank account for some T-shirt maker. It's
No,
going to
no.
actual lifters.
Yeah, we're not getting rich off Bull Strong. I can promise you that.
We're just keeping you alive.
Yes,
That
no
way
doubt.
Shorty doesn't kill you.
Yeah, we're allowing ourselves to be able to do more for other people.
That's really what matters, man. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down with me today, here in your lovely home in White House. I
Thanks.
really appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll have you on again soon. We'll see how the feedback goes. I'm
To
sure
the 3
you're gonna
people that listen, I'm sorry.
Hey, first episode already, we had 35.
Fantastic,
So, I mean,
fantastic.
That's good considering I've not delivered it to anyone. It just kind of got found. So, but I really want to thank you for being here and making sure that happens. And we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, thanks, Dave.